is happening with my hair? Hi.
It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling.
For today's video, we're doing episode 9 of Draw Your Journal. This thingy right here. I feel like I just started this series, but here we are, already on episode 9.
They grow up so fast.
If you don't know what Draw Your Journal is, it's my prompt journal that I wrote, and it's available now on Amazon. Before I even wrote Draw Your Journal, I was very interested in prompt journals. I have a series on my channel for Create This Book and for Wreck This Journal, and I was specifically looking for a different prompt journal. A prompt journal that I could use as my own personal diary. I realized that there was nothing like that existed, so I wrote it. Instead of writing paragraphs and paragraphs about your day in a journal, now you can draw about your day in a journal. Each prompt is about you and your life and what you're doing, what you like, what you don't like. It's supposed to be all about you. My series is all about me, but if you got the book, you would draw about your life, because it would be your journal. Let's get started on these pages.
Okay, so I'm taking out my Draw Your Journal, and we're flipping to the page that says, Draw Your Dream Vacation. The first step for this page is, of course, to sketch it all out. And while I'm sketching my dream vacation, I'm really thinking and contemplating, what is my dream vacation? Where would I want to travel? What would I want to do? And once I had totally planned my dream vacation, I erased it and took out this brand new pack of Faber-Castell colored pencils. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting to try these colored pencils because when I collabed with Mariah, she actually gave this to me as a gift, which was very kind. I had never tried Faber-Castell, and she knew that because we had talked about it, but I wanted things to be chronological on my channel, so I waited to try it out. In the past, I have only really ever used Prismacolor and Crayola colored pencils, so this is my first time using Faber-Castell colored pencils. I will be attempting to do this whole drawing with these new colored pencils that I have never used before. So as usual, I'm asking everyone to be nice to me because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, that's not always true. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I also kind of don't. So anyway, my dream vacation. I have been waiting and looking forward to doing this page in particular since I wrote this book, just because I love the concept of vacation. I mean, who are we kidding? Who doesn't love the concept of vacation? I don't get to do it that often, but hey, a girl can dream. I mean, that's specifically what this page is for, a dream vacation. And I have a very specific personal idea of what my dream vacation would be. Your personal dream vacation may be very different from mine. Please do not judge my dream vacation. It's
It's not that fancy.
I don't particularly want a very fancy dream vacation. What I want out of vacation is a few things. Number one, it has to be warm. The weather should be somewhat tropical. I love Florida. So let's just say it's Florida. It doesn't necessarily have to be Florida, but somewhere that is tropical-ish. Number two, I want it to be in a controlled environment. And what I mean by that is I want it to be at a resort. If you know me, you know that I am very risk averse. I don't like doing things that are
Adventurous.
I am not athletic in any way. I don't want to hike. I don't want to ski. I don't want to adventure around, if that's a verb now. And I know this might be a controversial kind of opinion. Some people just want to go to like a place and like explore. I'm really not an explorer. Dora the Explorer, that ain't me. I don't want to learn on my vacation. I know I'm saying a lot of things here, but we're talking about my personal vacation. I want to be in a resort and do nothing. I want it to be warm. I want to be by the pool, and I want to do absolutely nothing. I want to drink a strawberry daiquiri, eat a nice grilled cheese and some fries, and do, well, I said nothing, but really what I mean is I don't want to have to plan anything. So that brings us to number 3. There must be a lot of pre-planned activities that the resort team fully coordinates. Listen, guys, 6th grade, I will never forget it. I went to a resort. They had freeze dance. They had hula hoop contests. They had pool movie nights. They had tie-dye, sand art, friendship bracelets. Anything you could think of, they had it. All pre-planned, all scheduled at different times. You signed up in the morning. It was the most exciting week of my life. So that's really it. Warm, controlled environment, planned activities. I haven't mentioned something very critical. Some of you might be thinking, well, you said you wanted to be in a tropical area. Do you want to be on the beach? No. And the reason is simple. It's not something that's new or different for me. I live by a beach, and it's not something I require in my dream vacation. So my dream vacation is quite basic. It's not very extravagant. It's basically just wanting to go to a resort with a pool and some activities. I realize there are much more grand vacation concepts, but this is just what I would want to do. I'm really happy with the way this page turned out. I love the water, I love the schedule of events, and I most importantly love the sassy cat. That is obviously me on vacation, dramatically soaking in the sun. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next page, but first we have an important message.
If you would like to preview Draw Your Journal, all you have to do is go to bellamena.com, go to the newsletter tab, and enter your email. I will email you 5 extra pages that are not included in the book, and you'll get to preview what it's like to own it.
Okay, now we're moving on to the next page. Draw your fun fact. Draw something about you that most people don't know. I already told you a lot of things about me, pretty much everything that I can think of, except this. I would personally qualify this as a fun fact about myself, but you guys can be the judge if it's fun. It may not be fun, it might just be a regular fact. When I was growing up, I was randomly very good at ice skating. Maybe I just had very good balance. Maybe it was because I liked to rollerblade. I don't know, but I was very good at ice skating with no lessons whatsoever. I got invited to several ice skating birthday parties where you skate around, and I don't know what it was, but as a kid, I could go forwards, I could go backwards, I could spin around. I don't really remember because I was a kid, but I guess I came across coordinated, especially considering that I had no lessons whatsoever and only really skated at birthday parties. But I guess at the time, I must have been better than all these little kids on the ice skating free skate because the coach came up to me and my mom. This was like a random coach there and tried to get me to be on the travel team. I didn't even have to try out. He was like, yes, she's on the team. Just come to practice. Don't worry about it. I never actually joined that team. All I'm trying to say is that I liked to skate as a kid. It was like one of my favorite things when people had birthday parties at a skating rink. That was like the best thing ever. In college, I joined the club figure skating team, and we also had a hockey team. So we would come out before the hockey team and throw t-shirts and stuff at the crowd and do like a little dance. Dancing on ice is very difficult, and I actually only did it once or twice because I said, this is too embarrassing. I literally can't do this. I can only skate forwards, backwards, and spin around. I cannot do a dance routine. So that is where my skill level is at, if you're wondering. I'm not a figure skater. But I did enjoy being on the figure skating club team, skating around, throwing t-shirts, and letting people into the hockey games. And this brings us to the crux of my fun fact. My fun fact is that I really enjoy attending hockey games. Like I said, I went to a college that had a hockey team, and we actually had a hockey rink, ice skating rink on campus, and a team that played there. And on the weekends, we would go to the hockey games. And since then, I really love going to NHL games with my fiance, William. We don't go that often. I think we've went like 3 or 4 times. But we actually recently went to a hockey game. The New Jersey Devils in New Jersey. God knows why, but they are William's favorite hockey team. They're absolutely terrible. but that means that their ticket prices are so cheap, it's ridiculous. Their season is over now because they're terrible and they lost, but we went like 2 weeks ago and it was a lot of fun. Although I really enjoy attending hockey games, I don't actually know what's going on or follow the teams or players in any way, so I wanted to depict that on the page. So on the left, we have a hockey player, or William. He used to play hockey and he knows what's going on and he gets very aggressive and into it like, yes, this is great. And on the right is me, just like, I don't know what's really happening, but I'm having a good time. I really enjoy watching it. I like it, but I don't necessarily know what's happening. I'm just happy to be here. Also, can I have some cotton candy? That is my fun fact. I like to ice skate. I love to go to hockey games, but I don't necessarily know what is actually happening. Do you guys think that that is a fun fact or just a regular fact? I feel like it was fun. All right, let's move on to the next page. Up next, we're doing the page that says, draw your dream. For this page, you could really do a lot of different things. Well, 2 things. You could either do your dream as in like your vision for your life or like something that you really want to achieve, or you could do your literal dream, like a dream journal almost. You go to sleep, you have a nice dream, you wake up, and then you draw it. I have chosen to go the route of drawing an actual dream that I had while I was sleeping. Well, it's actually a nightmare, and it is definitely a reoccurring dream that I've had for years now. I've talked about my fear of butterflies on this channel quite a bit, but I've never mentioned to you guys my fear of elevators. I have so much to say. Okay. Let's take it back. I was never really that scared of elevators growing up. I didn't really like them, to be honest with you. I've never been like a big fan of elevators. But then again, who is? Who's a fan of elevators? No one. I think I was slightly scared of them, but I wasn't terrified of them. Like I would go in them and I'd be like, I don't like this, but no big deal. Then I went to college. Wow, this is the second time this episode I've had to tell a story from college, but here we are. In college, I lived on the 10th floor of a dorm and the 12th floor of a dorm. It was absolutely horrifying. Let me explain. While I was living in these dorms, the elevators would often break down. They were very old and they had to travel a very long distance, sometimes all the way up to the 24th floor. These elevators were known for breaking down regularly, I mean like every other day, and I had to use them because I lived so high up and could not walk up that many flights of stairs. One time I was in the elevator on the 10th floor and it dropped a little bit. I think it fell half a floor or a full floor. That's traumatizing. Several times in both dorms, 10th and 12th floor, the elevator shaft would just be open with no elevator in it, and you could just look down 10, 12 stories. Another time, I was living on the 10th floor. My friends got brought up to the 10th floor in the elevator, but the elevator opened halfway up. You could only see their heads, and their feet were still like halfway below the floor. And that is why I am absolutely traumatized about elevators. I have reoccurring nightmares where I'm like falling down elevator shafts or stuck in elevators, or elevators are like falling 10 feet. It's a fun time. I hope you guys weren't too scared by this page, but yeah, that is my reoccurring dream. And I have been keeping track very messily in my index of the pages that I have completed. It is quite a mess. Do something about it. And here are all 3 of the pages that I completed for this week's episode of Draw Your Journal. I hope you guys like the stories that I had to go along with each of the diary entries. I sincerely hope the elevator shaft thing didn't actually scare you that much. If you want to see more of my Draw Your Journal episodes, I do have them linked in one of these 2 boxes, and the link to the book is in the description of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye!